Karen Holton TV presents the Aliens and Angels podcast. Meet experiencers, contactees, abductees, ET human hybrids, and more weird paranormal states of reality. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Aliens and Angels live podcast. Today is January the 4th, 2026. And I thought we'd start the new year off with an analysis of an alien interrogation. And for those of you who are just joining us, please do join us in the live chat. I'd love to hear your questions, your comments, anything else you have to say. And all of the links are shared below in the description. I want to thank everybody in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, and please do share my content with your friends, whether you're new to the show or whether you've been a long-time supporter. Please do share this out because I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel and it has been somewhat slow getting out there in the algorithm. So I could really, really use your help. I also want to mention that YouTube channel memberships are now available so that you can help to support my channel. It doesn't cost more than a few dollars a month, and it really, really benefits the channel. And if you could do that, that would be really, really awesome. So I wanted to say to start off that I have a couple clips that I'm going to play, and I'm going to be displaying parts of them for analysis. And under the fair use clause, um, I'm able to do that. So I should not get a copyright strike because I am not claiming that this is my material. In fact, these videos came out, I believe, in the 1970s. We'll take a look at them and we'll see the dates that are displayed as I'm playing it. But I know because I was born in 1956. I know growing up in the 60s and being a young woman in the 70s what technology was like. And we still had those great big phones with the cords and the dials. We did not have the technology. I mean, what was considered amazing was when the Muppets came out. Everyone, oh, it's so cute, the Muppets. Yeah, well, that was as far as our technology got for puppetry. So when you see these videos, you're going to see there's a big difference. I believe they're authentic, but you can make up your own minds. So let's go quickly to the live chat and say hi to everybody. And Denise is here. Hi, Denise. And Denise is also recommending that everybody please do hit the like button and share this out and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I could sure use the support. And for those of you who want to support my work, you're also invited to make a donation at buymeacoffee.com/Karen Holton TV. That'd be ever so helpful. And let's see what else we got. Yeah, Happy New Year and welcome to everybody. Fearlessly Phoenixing also says Happy New Year's, family. Well, that's really a compliment. That's awesome. Let's have a look. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, your name's a little different. Now it says Fearlessly PL Phoenixing. Anyway, awesome. So lovely to have you here. She says, I'd love to help push your content out, Karen. Honestly, I feel we could push it all over TikTok and everything. I bet we could make this community even bigger. That would be awesome. And I would so appreciate the help. I do put it out there as much as I can on Facebook and other social medias, and I basically I am doing the best I can, but I could use your help. So It's not an order. It's just a kind request if you would like to help support my show. Denise says, fearlessly, I'm good. Just worry. Oops, sorry. Maybe that one was kind of personal. Sorry about that. Uh, Denise says, fearlessly, I agree about TikTok. Yeah, that would be great. I can't do TikTok simply because I'm already spending way too much screen time between Facebook and YouTube, Odyssey, X, formerly Twitter, my website, Telegram. It's out on all audio platforms. And yeah, that's about it. Let's have a look. Let's see. Not sure. And oh, fearlessly Phoenixing says, I'd love to help. Well, awesome. So glad to have you guys here. So today I'm hoping more people join us because I'd love to get your input and your comments. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So let's just get started. Enough of my chit chat. I'm going to put up a banner here that says that I am using this material for educational and analytical purposes only. And I hope that helps out a bit. And go back to the comments. And oh, awesome. She says she is excited to check these out. Okay, so let's get at it, guys. What I'll do is I'll play a bit of the video. I'll pause it, take your comments, and then we'll put it on again. So I'm pretty sure I have these in the right order. And if not, well, I guess that's going to be just the way it is. So here we go. Ready, everybody?
Okay, we're recording. Stay on origin. Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Yes. Tell us the truth, or the word, or never leave here.
Okay, first of all, I've never actually found ET to be a liar or liars, not like human people. Because of telepathy, it's almost impossible to tell lies. And so this poor ET is being interrogated by a guy who's pretty nasty. I wouldn't feel very comfortable being questioned by him. And the ET says he's from Earth. And the guy who's interrogating him is saying, well, that doesn't make sense because you said you traveled thousands of light years to get here. Well, that's because he took the question literally. What is your planet of origin? It's Earth. So these are beings who originated on Earth. They're sapiens. They're actually relatives of ours. And the guy who's interrogating him is basically threatening him with shoot him up with drugs, truth-telling drugs, if he doesn't cooperate. Now, those drugs make everybody sick. I can't imagine what they would do to this poor little ET body. But anyway, does anybody have any comments? Oh, thank you, fearlessly. She said I look really good in my hat. This is my Starfleet Communications hat. I've had it for years. I was cleaning out a cupboard and I found it and I thought, oh, that'd be fun to wear on my show. So, okay, let's get back to the video.
So I take it aliens took over our future, right? So you're human.
So he's claiming that they're coming from the future and that they are us. basically in the future, and they've traveled back through time. And of course, the guy who's interrogating him doesn't understand the nature of transdimensional or interdimensional travel, or he would have gotten it right away. Oh, Vamp Skyder, sorry, is in the house. I want to say hi and welcome. Um, uh, let's see. Mark Decurious says aliens are nice people. This one looks evil and angry. No, I don't think he's evil and angry, as you'll see. He's been treated really poorly. I don't know if any of you have had the horrible experience of being mistaken for a wrongdoer and have been manhandled by the local police. But if you have, you would understand that you get angry. That is kind of the way that people respond, and probably aliens too. So let's just go a little more.
Okay, so you evolved from us. So what are you doing here now? How?
Yeah, so basically what happened is us in the very near future, because when you take a look at the timestamp of this compared to where we are now in the days that he's talking about where we actually have nuclear war. And the problem is that the information to help them in the future has been deleted, censored, and they had to come back in order to try to change the future, for lack of a better word. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do the chat and think about what I'm saying at the same time, which is multitasking, which I'm not good at. But anyway, yeah. His his head is pulsing. Absolutely. This is what I said earlier about how these are not puppets. A lot of people go, "Oh, that's puppet. That's fake." They did not have AI. I mean, that is back in the days when Dumbo and Cinderella came out, which was the best animation they had. This guy, you'll see, he moves around a bit during this clip and the next clip I want to play, and he looks real. Yep, he does. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, I mean, even just think of how you feel if you have been accused of something you haven't done and it's not a good feeling, let alone the abuse being done. Yeah, absolutely. And she also says, we were shown much of this even in Star Trek and Spock's heritage. Good point. Very good point. Okay, so he says he's from the future. Let's see what else he says.
Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time?
So he says that he and his beings are our ancestors, and that there's a no, I'm saying it right, war uh, impending. And, makes me wonder about the breakaway civilizations. Maybe they do survive, maybe they don't. But I do know that if the breakaway civilizations are run by the 13 or so families that are ruling the planet in our time, yeah, they'd be screwy enough to keep doing genetic experiments and change us, and we might look more like ET. And when I say that, no disrespect to ET, I'm sure they're beautiful to their own kind, just they're a little bit, shocking for us to see them, for sure.
Try me. Wait, so you know the meaning of life?
Yeah, notice this guy who's interrogating the ET. He's not really, obviously, he doesn't know what we know today. What we know today is that there's transdimensional travel. There's all kinds of things that this guy doesn't know. Because he doesn't know it, he's kind of treating the ET like a fool. And it's extremely disrespectful, extremely. And it makes me feel actually kind of creepy crawly in my skin, uh, because, if this is the way they have treated ETs, and this is probably 40 or 50 years ago, they would have more than enough reason to retaliate, yet they don't. And that's, I think, something really important. Yes, I agree with Fearlessly here, where she says that it reflects the creation story I got a download of. And the reason the rib was part of connection in the Genesis story. And in my book that I published, I also learned from my ET contacts that we are a created species. We didn't evolve from monkeys. That's all just stuff to throw us off and make us question ourselves, our sanity, and our beliefs. So let's continue a little bit more.
So you know how the universe is created. So you think God. Okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die?
Just going to stop it for a minute and um, add the comment that there is ample evidence today that we share, like we may be look like five different people here on earth, but we're actually sharing the same divine spark, the same essence, perhaps in the fifth or sixth dimensional reality. Uh, Personally, I think the ET is telling us things that we now know in 2026. I thought that was really super interesting. I just want to give a shout out to Fearlessly. Fearlessly, I'd like to have you on the show and love to hear about your experience and your download and all of that. So let's keep in touch, and I will book you in. Or if I get a cancellation, I could bring you in earlier. Of course, we're meeting on the 11th, which is next Sunday. Denise, Fearlessly Phoenixing, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot, and any of our other regulars or people who have started coming regularly recently, you're invited to come on the stage and we can talk about whatever's relevant for you guys. But Fearlessly, I think you need a show of your own, quite seriously. Anyway, let's get back. Okay, I'm going to back it up a little bit.
Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right? Okay, so how was the universe created, and why is it so perfectly made for us?
Fearlessly. Love it, what you said. It's why I refer to the soul fragments as shadow clones, like in Naruto, where we are fragments of the singular, but experience our own, but all returns to source with the individual. I think that's awesome. Love it. Love it. And I think that might be what ET's getting at here. And she also says that the experiences are then integrated. And let's see. I don't know if I already Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. Oh my God, you guys, go to his channel and check out the beautiful, beautiful ceremony he, his wife, and his son did out at the burial mounds. These are ancient burial mounds. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. It made me cry, seriously. They went out and they burned sage and tobacco, and they gave their thanks to the land and the ancestors. Then they went around to the graves and they left apples and they left sage and they left tobacco, and they planted seeds so that in the springtime beautiful flowers would come up around each grave. It was absolutely spectacular. So hi Jim, just want to say hi. And yeah, loved your last transmission on YouTube. It's really, really awesome. Highly recommend it. I know, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place doing the chat and doing the show. Sometimes I think maybe I need an administrator to come on with me to help me with the chat while I talk about things, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get back. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, you're welcome. Tennessee Bigfoot. Sorry, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot. These are real people living so authentically and so respectful to the earth. And Jim's son, he films some of their experiences out in the woods. He does a fantastic job, really. What I really liked about the video was the way it really captured the reverence, the harmony, the respect, the love, and the authentic way that these people tread upon the earth. It just blew me away. So I really highly recommend to everybody. So I'm going to have to back this up a little bit because I can't remember what he said. So let's try it again.
Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right? Okay, so how was the universe created, and why is it so perfectly made for us?
Exactly.
Moving on. Okay, so why do we destroy ourselves?
Okay, do you notice how the ET looks sad? Can you imagine having to deal with this possibly military bozo that's questioning him and knowing there isn't enough words in the world to truly explain things because we, at that point, we're not up to where we're at now. I'm not saying military knows everything, but I know that a lot of us are, we've all been uh, touched by the paranormal, and we do research. We're intelligent people. We're not a bunch of goofballs. And we do a lot of research, and we're finding out about the multiverse, about simulation theory, about so many things that this guy, sorry, but I'm going to call him a buffoon because I feel like he is a buffoon, who's interviewing this defenseless ET. And like I said, it makes my skin crawl. It really does. Fearlessly says that words are our greatest limitation. I agree. We got to expand. It's okay to use language for communication, but we're pretty much to the point where we could solve a lot of issues if we all were telepathic. It wouldn't matter if we spoke Chinese or German or English. And also we would be able to tell when people are lying. Probably people would stop lying. It's a whole different. Some people would say, well, what's the difference between that and surveillance? Well, there is a difference, but we won't get into that. Maybe we will get into that on a future podcast.
For nuclear war.
Dogma leads to
Can you be more
nuclear
specific,
war. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I do have a comment. Now, I do not elevate any one religion over another. In fact, I believe, and please, no disrespect to anyone in the audience, but I believe that religion is a form of social control and brainwashing, and it's propaganda. And often the churches are in lockstep with the political elements. But that being said, um, but that being said, um, dogma is what I see as being the problem. Now, that doesn't mean that individual Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, pagans are evil. Not at all. In fact, religions capture the most beautiful of our society. Kind, respectful, loving people. And I think that have more in common than we have that separates us. But dogma is a problem. And that's my opinion. I'm not stating it as a fact, and you don't have to agree with me at all. But yeah. So he says dogma. So think about it. We have religions today like um, well, I don't even know what words I can use to make sure this doesn't get taken down off of social media. But let's just say there are religions that maybe, I don't know how many. I was going to say what percentage of Earth's population, but I guess it all depends. But they believe that they have the right to the earth and that it's their job to destroy anyone who does not subscribe or join or convert to their religion. And that's really scary. And that's not just from Middle Eastern countries. That is also, there's a huge amount of so-called Christians in North America and around the world who think that if everything gets destroyed, then Jesus is going to come and everybody's going to have paradise. Like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about it anymore. But dogma, I do see dogma as being a real problem. Fearlessly says, absolutely, religious structures were used as constructs to command and control. When science became too interested, it was taken and structured the same as religion. Absolutely. And Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says that's why spirituality has been so aggressively infiltrated by influencers, marketing, advertising, etc., because it's not able to be structured the same. It needs to be muddied. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one, but not really the wrong one because it's totally relevant. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says, fearlessly, really enjoyed your talk the other day on Jays. You definitely have spiritual charisma. I would agree with that as well. So I'm going to back this up a little bit and we'll just finish off this short video and then I'll open it up to discussion. Then I've got the second half that I also would love to show.
Can you be more specific, please? one last thing. What about morality? What are you basing your morality on?
Compassion and evidence. Oh my God, what a balanced perspective. I love it. I love it.
I see. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Now, did you notice that he looked directly at the guy who was interrogating him? And he said compassion and evidence. Um, yeah, and what's missing from a lot of these structures like the military, industrial military complex, etc.? What's missing? Compassion and often evidence. We saw a lot of that was lacking in the world powers, especially like 2020 to 2022. And we're seeing it even ongoing now. Just going to check with the chat. Fearlessly says it doesn't matter who it comes from, the energies are shared. The words are just projected versions in which we open potential for more to connect to. Absolutely. Oh, Rodney's here. Hi, Rodney. Nice to see you. He says two simple words. Yeah, compassion and evidence. Absolutely. Nice to have you with us. Okay, so the next clip is like part two, but it has some information at the very beginning. I want us to check it out and see when this interview actually happened. So let's see, go back to the very beginning here. It says this is one of several 16 millimeter film reels discovered in an undisclosed government location. It is digitized in HD to preserve its original quality and presented in its raw and unedited form. Well, that's good to know. And then here, I don't know if anyone can read that. I believe it's June 1964. So somebody out there who's good with math, from 2026 to 1964, how many years is that? Because he tells us, I believe it's this clip, tells us when this nuclear disaster happened in his history, because he's from the future. So anyone who's good at math out there, or I guess I could use my phone. Let's have a look. 2026 minus 1964. 62 years. That was 62. Yes, absolutely. 62 full years. Yeah. So they've been knowing about all of that for a long, long time. They've been communicating with ET long time, and still we get the old, oh, there's no such thing, and it's, all the gaslighting, which I can't stand. Thank you, Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot. Let's have a look at part two here. Notice this time they got his arms stretched out. So I don't know if he's tethered to something or chained gallows style. I don't know, but it gives me the creeps, just going to say it.
Wow, sir. Are you scared of me? Because you should be. Okay, so you say you're from the future and an evolutionary descendant of humans. You also say you're a different species. So, which one is it? Are you a descendant of humans or not? Answer me. If you don't answer, I'll administer another round of scopolamine.
So there you see, he's threatening the ET. You answer me. In the beginning, he says, "Are you afraid of me? You should be." And then he says, "If you don't answer me, I'm going to give you," and it's, I guess, a truth-telling drug. He's going to shoot him up with something that's going to be nasty. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says, "I don't think these ETs can do well under our air, probably making him sick." Yeah, absolutely.
Collapses. Do you understand? Now, how do you speak English? Language is essential to understanding your species.
Okay, I want to stop it there. Language determines reality. It's hard to talk about things that we don't have language for. And I think that's partly the purpose of languages in so many different languages. It helps to divide us. And um, it doesn't surprise me that this particular ET, that they would have to learn English, because maybe he knew he was going to get captured. I don't know. Maybe he came here to give the warning. And if it wasn't for this material being leaked out, maybe we would never even know. Denise says, "I don't like this interviewer." No, me neither. He's a jockstrap as far as I'm concerned.
So you just picked up English, just like that, because you're so smart, right? Right. So you said you know the origin of the universe, but you did not provide an explanation. So I ask you again, how was the universe created? Answer the question. Really? But you can't create something out of nothing. So there it is. Only a creator can make something from nothing.
Yeah, so again, words are getting in the way. The American guy, assume he's American, is saying that you can't create something out of nothing. And if the universe was created, how was that created? The ET saying, well, it wasn't created, but he's obviously got more information. But the guy that would be interrogating him, probably if his IQ was like 2 points lower, he'd be a plant. So of course he isn't going to understand. And this must have been a very humiliating experience. People are going, "Oh, how come ET doesn't come and show itself?" Well, ET has come and shown itself. And if this is the way we treat ET, I would not expect them to come down in physical form. And I think that might be why we're having so much transdimensional, spiritual, interdimensional contact, because it's going to be a lot safer for them. And whether they are containers or they somehow were created or cloned or whatever, because I don't know, they have a right to respect and dignity, and they're not getting it. And he's being treated like any other prisoner of war, which is shameful in itself. Absolutely. Fearlessly says, "We are better able to create connection and correction." Okay, let's hear what else he has
Wait,
to say.
you just contradicted yourself. So, since nothing cannot exist, what is left is existence. Existence is infinite. There is no end, no beginning, and therefore no end. Wait, but you said there is an origin to the universe. Yes, there it is. I caught you in a lie.
I'm wondering if he's alluding to simulation theory. Seriously. Denise says, I feel bad for this poor ET. Me too. Oh my goodness. I just want to mention to everybody out there the reason I'm also reading the messages from the live chat is because this is going to go out on audio, all the audio platforms, and people will not be able to see and read the chats and see the images. They can only listen. And I want them to know what the people in the live chat community are saying, because it's an important part of the show, as far as I'm concerned. So for those of you who don't know why I'm reading them out, that would be why.
Right, so now you're talking nonsense. Again, how was the universe created so miraculously?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm losing patience with the interrogator. If he was any smarter, he'd be a hammer. Really, this is horrible. Absolutely horrible. I just want to stop for a minute. He said that not all universes can sustain life. This universe that we're experiencing is stable, and that's why it's teeming with life. And I think I can't imagine a better way of saying it. That's awesome. And yeah, but the powers that be are not going to listen to ET, you, me, or anybody else. They're going to do what they do. Hoping this is the clip that has the bit about nuclear war, but if not, I will find it and we'll watch it on a future podcast.
So, like just happened, right? So are you telling me we're just random? Yes. This universe is meant for so-called life. How so?
Okay, before we get into the destroying, let's have a look at what Denise has to say. She says, what I'm surprised at is how our medicine for truth telling is working on the ET. But then again, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, this poor guy, they shot him up with lots of stuff. But if he's essentially the next stage for humanity, then you can understand that biologically his body may have similarities. But again, I'm not sure either, Denise, but thank you very much. That's great thought. Okay, I'm going to back it up just a little bit. I don't want to miss the part about the nuclear.
How so? Such as?
Okay, now here he's going to talk about, I'm going to back that up just a little bit. Here we go.
Such as?
Solar flare, supernova. Asteroid impact.
So the universe doesn't care if we live or die.
Nope.
I don't believe that for a second. We're more than just random.
Yeah. He says, you're not capable of understanding the truths of existence. And because we've been so inundated with programming and propaganda, and the whole damn world is fake, and now we're all seeing it, I would kind of agree with him.
So, if we're just random, then there's no meaning to the universe. So if there's no meaning in the universe, then what's the point of living? You just contradicted yourself again. No. You can't live a full life. You can't live a life at all. Do you think that meaning is somehow made up?
Notice what he said, your species conjures meaning. I think that's true. I got to tell you, I've also been doing a parallel bunch of research on how I've come to be convinced that every 300 years, everything's destroyed and they start over to keep us from getting to a certain point. And this, I never thought about it before, but what this ET is saying seems to support that. Let's see what Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot has. Solar flares were and power is decided by spirit God, per my understanding. So it is not so random. It has a consciousness behind it. Now, I gotta say, yes, I have seen evidence, personal evidence, by having my prayers answered, by having my situations remedied, and even more, I have seen that there's an intelligence to this universe. So even though ET doesn't believe in it, doesn't mean it's not real. But good point. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot for sure. Okay, let me just back this up tiny bit, and we're almost done.
You can't live a life at all. Do you think that meaning is somehow made up? So, what is meaning? Okay, moving on. You said we humans would die as a species. So, tell me, when does the nuclear war start?
Ah, shoot. Okay, guys, I am going to apologize because that was the part I wanted to show all of you, and it's missing. So it means I have another video clip somewhere that I've misplaced. I'm so sorry. Basically, what he says is that within a half a century is when we're going to have this nuclear disaster. And he's come back from the future to get information from before to find out what caused it and whatever else he wants to know. Fearlessly says that ET has the greatest level of patience. I would agree. And again, like if this is the way they're treating ETs, it shows an infinite amount of love and compassion and patience that I'm sure if they can come back from the future, if they can travel transdimensionally, they got a lot of options, and it really seems like they could come down here and just wipe us out or re-terraform the planet, and they haven't. So I thought that was really super interesting. um Fearlessly also says, as humans, we would have lost our minds at this moron's questions and lack of intelligence. Absolutely. So that is it. And I am so sorry. I will keep looking. If any of you find that the missing clip, maybe there's a part 3 to this, and I will look for it and we'll have it. I'm so sorry. I thought it was here and it's not. Okay. Um, yeah. Fearlessly Phoenixing says it makes sense the feeling Jake Barber mentioned. He felt off the egg-shaped vessel, the fear, but unconditional love. Yeah, I've never experienced anything but unconditional love. But I'm also aware that my experience is my experience. I'm filtering it through my own perceptual arena. I'm trying to form concepts that were never taught to me. I'm using language, which is, of course, very limiting, and I don't even have the vocabulary in order to fully talk about my own experiences. So it just seems to me that it just seems to me that sorry, I was trying to see, I'm trying to um do two tasks at once. Oh gosh, getting old is okay, but I mean it's great in some ways, but in other ways it's a bit scary because I have things I want to do, and then when I get there I find, oh, I'm not as professional as I had hoped to be. But I'm sure you're not watching my podcast for professionalism. I think you're doing it for the authenticity and to be part of a community, which is really, really awesome. um, so that's the end of the video. I'd love to hear your comments, anything that you have to say about it. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with what the ET says. I'm just interesting that we have this time together to share our thoughts and our feelings. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says we had gotten from Gaia that she had to make the dinosaurs and stuff because the other form galaxies away was coming to take. Of course, not all ETs want to take. Earth Gaia has had many wars. Yeah, I think throughout time, certainly it has. Getting back to me talking about how, like, every 300 years, it seems that they um, wipe everybody out and start a whole new reality. I was watching a documentary about Angkor Wat. If you don't know where that is, it's in Cambodia. You could do some research on it. And scientists went in to check it out, thinking that it was thousands of years old. But guess what they found out? They found out that the trees that had overgrown and the vines and everything, that they couldn't be more than about 200 or 300 years, because the growth of the trees and the vines and the vegetation would have been way more severe if this was 1,000 years old. And so now the scientists are going, wait a minute, this only shows 200 or 300 years. Like, all of this was created in the 19th or even the 20th century, which would be the 1800s or the 1900s. And I thought, wow, that totally fits together with the podcast called My Lunch Break, where he breaks it all down and shows us that a lot of our buildings, not just the pyramids and the big megalithic stuff in South America, but how all these cathedral style or Romanesque style buildings, they're the same all over the world. It doesn't matter where you go, they all look the same. And how everything was cleared around it. There was nothing but dirt all around it. And then they introduced people back into it. And of course, the hundreds, maybe 200,000 children who then came over on the orphan trains. I know this is a totally different subject, but I'm just wanting to say how it all fits together in the grand um, in the grand scheme of things. Oh, we've got Missing Time 420. Hi, nice of you to join us today. Thank you. Let's see. This was also from Missing Time, who tells us peace. Yes, peace, brother, for sure. So that is about it for the show today. But if you have any comments or anything you'd like to add, please feel free to add it to the live chat. I'll read it out for everybody. Here we go. Yes, Tennessee, Kentucky. Bigfoot says orphan trains or great clone program. That's what they think. They think it was a cloning program. I think that because it was just like these children were on trains. They all had their little dresses and their little shoes and their teddy bears, and it was like they looked completely bewildered, like, what is going on? So, yeah, it's all too weird. All I do know is everything they tell us isn't true, could be, and everything they tell us, oh, everything they're telling us is not true, could be, and everything they're telling us is not true, could be true. Oh, I got that backwards. But everything they're telling us is true is bullshit. Let me just say that. Fearlessly says, love to you all. And thanks for a great Sunday program. Um, oh, very welcome. That's the least I could do. I love doing these shows. It really gives me purpose. It gives me structure to my week. Helps me feel like I'm doing something meaningful. And I hope that you feel the same way too. Tennessee, Kentucky. Bigfoot says, thanks, Karen, for the talk today. Thanks, everyone. Always a pleasure here. Thank you. And I do recommend that you go check out his channel, and especially that last video of them offering offerings to at this sacred place, these burial grounds, these ancient burial grounds. Awesome, absolutely awesome. I just loved it. I watched the whole thing. I couldn't get enough. I actually put it on a playlist. And I have a playlist for when I need support myself, for my soul. And I put it on there so that when I get bogged down with the problems of the world, too much screen time, too much YouTube, alternative news, whatever makes me start feeling lost, I'm going to go watch that video that Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot has on his YouTube channel, because it completely recentered me. It reminded me of what was important. It touched my heart, and the authenticity that was in that video was absolutely what I needed. I just watched it yesterday and it was absolutely what I needed. So I recommend it. And Denise says, much love to everyone. Absolutely. I hope you'll all be back on Wednesday for the Quantum Guide Show. My guest is not yet responded, so I'm not sure if I'll have a guest. I'm finding a little bit challenging to find guests right in the first couple of weeks of January, but it'll come. And later on in the month of January, we're going to have Eric Wood on with his brother, Dr. Wu. I'm hoping to have Sue Walker on again. I'm hoping to have Ryan Burns on. I'm hoping he will talk about breakaway civilizations. And of course, I'll have Joan Wyden back as well. And next Saturday, I should say next Sunday, put it on your calendar to come join us actually in the show itself. And I also want to thank Fearlessly Phoenixing for offering to help me administrate my program, because I find it's hard for me to concentrate. When I do, I'm sort of stuck on one subject. And then when I take my mind off of it to respond to the chat, then sometimes I lose my place. But it's not the end of the world. It's just I need practice. And the good news about all this is, at least I am not AI. Yeah, my background might be, but I'm not. The things I say and the things that the other people on the show say are definitely not AI. Rodney, thank you. Rodney says stay safe. Okay, with all of that, we're going to close out the show for now. Bless you all for coming. You totally rock my world. I am really, really appreciate you all and hope that you will join us and come back. And with that, everybody, oh, now I got a little thing here saying, Oh, sorry. Anyway, much love. I hope you have a most awesome week ever. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available on Amazon worldwide. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. The like button and leave me a comment. And please do share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.karenholtonhealthcoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you'll also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.